Hey everybody, welcome back to Roy Studio Adventures. If you've been following the channel, you might remember we toured King of the Attic Studio, Chris Smith's recording studio in Welland, Ontario. Today, we're taking things further with an exclusive behind-the-scenes personal look at his home studio where a lot of creative magic happens behind the scenes. Let's go check it out.
Hi, welcome to your Studio Adventures. I'm here with Chris Smith in his studio in Port Colborne. Yeah, show us around, sir.
Well, here you have the analog world.
Amazing stuff.
Still in existence here. So it goes to show you old dinosaurs can still roam the earth. Here is basically what I'm still using for most of my mix downs when I'm in the analog world, and this is basically what we use. So a whole plethora of stuff here, as you can see, but mostly all your standard DBX, Ashley, Orban, Delta Lab, a little bit of Yamaha here, there, whatever, but basically all your usual kind of studio paraphernalia, some boutique stuff like Pandora, and that was studio boutique stuff like used down in LA way back in the 70s. So as I say, we record 24 tracks like you've seen at the other studio, all analog. It gets put onto these hard disk recorders. Here, this hard disk recorder is set to play back in the analog mode. So basically, it all goes through the board again with all your processors, and then it either burns onto. Most of the time, we just burn onto CDs in this particular room right here, and it's slightly easier. There's other mini CDs, and which is another format. It's just a smaller version of a CD, but it's super high quality. It's 96K. It's really super high end.
Yeah.
But basically, we try to keep it in the 4401 realm in case you want to do anything with CDs or whatever. You don't need another conversion or whatever. So we record everything at 4401, and it stays at 4401. Old guy right here, like I said, it's analog, of course. And basically, it's set for 24 in, although you could do, I could do up to 32 and 2 stereo channels, but basically we're 24 in. So there again, on this machine here, it's playing back analog, and it's coming through here, and then it goes back on to the machine, or we can just leave it digital or just record straight out. So basically, you don't do much as far as going back onto the machine, because what's on the machine, we're playing it back and we're mixing it, and then we're just burning it. So basically, it's more of a mix down tool than a record one tool. But if you had a track or something that you want to fix, we can punch it in, fix it up on the machine, and then you still could further your mix down. But we don't do too much of the dubs or whatever. But if you need something, if you need to correct something, we still can get onto all 24 tracks, either analog again or digital in there. And if you want to correct a track, we can go on and out. But basically, this is what we call inline mix down. So you're taking what you have, separating all those tracks, and then you're mixing it down to your stereo or your quad.
It's all about like each channel. You told that there's a compressor for each one, but they're not listed.
Well, the compressors are right in these cards in these channels right here. So all these playback channels, basically, you can take them in and out, but basically it's set in line, and whatever goes through here, it's already going through a mild compression. It's already preset. Here, if you've already got a mix, and again, so the cards from the other studio, they plug in here. So like I said, right now that card's in that one over there, but I could take it over there, plunk it in here.
Mix it with
all 24 channels. Everything is always the same place for me. So whether I'm at the other studio or either one of these two rooms, when I plug that card in, number one is my vocal, number two is my bass player's vocal, four, up to 4, then 5 and 6 is my guitar, right? Same needs to do, and it just shows up here.
It's the same process.
Yeah. So basically, it is basically all.
How is that?
Yeah, that's the hard disk.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's my recorder, just so you can control a thing from here. Because once you put the cards in, you just wheel it from here or whatever. Because there again, we're working it here like tape machine. We're not on a computer.
Exactly.
So
all ears.
back in the old days, that'd be a great big reel-to-reel with 2-inch reels on it, sitting in the corner, and it'd be spinning. But right now, we don't want to, mess around with tapes or stuff. So all we did is just kind of insert that. And that's kind of our tape deck. But other than that, the procedure is
the same thing.
Come off there, mix, do whatever you got to do, and then burn down. Now here, when we burn down, we're going to this HEAC media recorder,
Mhm.
and it will burn a CD, but basically it takes data cards. So everything on this machine is mixed down to a data card and a CD at the same time.
44.1 is still, right?
Yeah. So basically, that's why we stay at 44.1
Yeah.
because you don't need another conversion.
You mentioned you like to keep your chamber hall the same room with that, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. So basically, my chamber for this room is basically I use that one Alesis because it kind of emulates, although it's a spring tube one in the other room for my reverb, and for the amount of delay, I still use these Delta Labs finalizer. It looks like it's analog, but this is in the digital mode.
Interesting.
Okay, so you mix down from your mains, you come into this, but it's digital.
What do you master as?
Well, we try to hit the normal broadcast.
14, negative 14?
Yeah, no, not even, because well, it depends what scale you're on, because now they have they changed, like you got a VU scale, but what they call VU now has changed for the broadcast world or whatever, and for computers when you're listening with headphones and doing different stuff. So they've changed that standard to what it should be, and basically, so we pick something that's
Right in the middle.
right about in the middle.
They're classic vintage as well. Amazing stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Novelty. Lots of novelty.
These are your Voodoo Strats. These are 90s versions. So these are Voodoo Strats with the reverse headstocks. That's Fender custom shop stock. 78 or 79.
Yeah.
So that's a humbucker pickup in there.
There's a humbucker?
Stacking humbucker here.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
This one is a 70.
Yeah.
It's also got a stacking humbucker
on
it. Seymour Duncan. This is one of my newest Fenders. I didn't, whenever I think this one's a 2004 or something.
That might 2004.
Yeah, it's a 2004. My old beater. This one is a 79.
79.
This one is a 1961.
It's a 61?
Yep. The pickups have been changed in it.
Oh yeah. Never even seen that pickup before.
Yeah, they're Seymour Duncans. They're the humbucker. The humbucker.
But like in a single coil.
Yeah. This one was 70, 92, 92 and 95, somewhere in that neck of the woods. That's one of my 5 years old. My fairly new ones, right? So, and this one is around the same age. I think it's about mid 80s. This one here.
Oh, look at that.
That one's a 72. When we say 72, I mean 72. We're not talking reissue. That's 72 and 61 that's what they are. I don't reissue stuff is something else. These are all the real deal. This is fairly new. This is a bit of a beater. And I picked it up cheap, and I was actually, my son was messing with it a little bit, and it seemed pretty good, and I kind of got out. I don't use it, but it plays really, really well. This one's mid 80s or early 90s, so it's really not vintage. Well, it's vintage now. It's getting old. You used to say vintage 60s or 70s. Now that's now vintage. This one is a 76.
Cool.
Okay. That one is a 71. Got the soap bar pickups in it. This is a really rare because it's a maple.
Wow. Yeah. It's a maple fretboard in the Gibson.
73, 74, somewhere in that neck. I think I remember. I have to look at serial numbers on the back or whatever. But that's a pretty rare one with that maple fretboard. That was a special order there, but they were available. I should show up in the catalog. It's not like an add-on or anything. It came that way. This is a Fender 12. 12
Strat.
That's custom shop. This one's not that old either. It's about maybe 98, something like that. This is another old one. That's a 61 or 62. It's around the same age as the other one.
62.
And this is another.
That sounds like a
77. 71, 72. It's got the 3-bolt metal. Kind of like Hendrix style, the white deal going on there with it, right? This one is a Frankenstein. Well, look at that I built. I just put a left-hand neck on another body. There again, it's all American standard, but it's a Frankenstein. It's different pieces. It's a 2004 neck, I think, and a late 80s body or whatever. But it's all American standard parts or whatever. But it's what you call like a Frankenstein or whatever. But there's no Japanese parts or anything like that. I don't use any of that on any of these guitars. They're all American parts and parts that should go with them. This is my Taylor.
There's your Taylor.
Semi. Oh, they're tuned out. Semi acoustic. And it's got the pickups in it, so you can make it sound like an acoustic, or pickups and make it plays a little bit more like an electric. So it's guys that who like electric, but you just want a little bit more of an acoustic sound. So it does sound like a fairly big acoustic guitar if you weren't looking at it, because it's got the piezo pickups underneath here that pick up, making it sound like an acoustic guitar. So it's kind of like an electric player's guy who gets on that and really doesn't want an acoustic guitar. A 66 Epiphone, when Epiphone was Epiphone, that's made in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And this one is a mid-70s Alex Axe, and they were made in New York City. And they used Gibson and Gretsch parts.
Oh, really?
And they're all handmade. This one is, I believe, is number 7.
Wow. Collector's edition.
And the most notable people that have one is Pete Townsend has one, Derringer has one, and I'm not sure who else has got them. And Peter Frampton, I think, has got one. Thanks for coming to see me. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I think Roy and I are probably going to do another little session later. Then we get into a little bit more actually how we mix and what we do and what's going on with all this stuff. So we're just trying to introduce everybody to kind of what we have in the home studio and my professional studio.
Huge thanks to Chris for having us again. If you enjoyed this tour, hit that like button, subscribe. Music isn't just about gear. It's also about the experience. So go out and see a live band, support local musicians, and help keep music alive. Remember to stay tuned for more studio adventures.